Number 1. At a Distance, Spring is Green. Based on a webtoon of the same name, At a Distance, Spring is Green is a young yet meaningful drama that was severely underrated by the audience. Despite being screened on a public channel, the series' rating was only about 2%, an extremely low number. However, despite these numbers, the series had touched the hearts of many audiences. For everyone has their own youth. While not a completely new concept, the series had tried to exploit the life of university students in a different perspective. It is gentle like a gust of spring wind, and yet it also explores darker themes like bullying, mental health, domestic violence, and peer pressure. The series' cast consists mostly of rookies, and yet they fit extremely well. First, there's the idol/actor Park Ji-hoon, who plays Yo-jun, son of a wealthy family. He is the definition of a perfect guy, popular, handsome, and never befalls people's expectations. However, he has his own burdens and scars. He's lonely despite constantly being in the spotlight, and as his story unravels, the audience can't help but feel for him. There's also Ba In-hyuk, who plays Soo-hyun, Yo-jun's upperclassman. Contrary to the popular Yo-jun, Soo-hyun is antisocial, cold, and uncaring, only focusing on his grades and disliking rich, spoiled brats. So when the two collided, it was a funny yet heartfelt story of opposite attracts. Yo-jun keeps clinging onto Soo-hyun, who grudgingly rejects him. They went from strangers to acquaintances, from casual to brotherly. Their relationship isn't affected when the female lead Min-ah enters the picture, and instead, we only see the three grow even tighter. In a sense, At a Distance, Spring of Green tells the tales of struggles but also of healing. It shows people outgrowing their shells, learning to appreciate themselves, and highlights friendship instead of romance. So, while not exactly a successful drama in South Korea, the series is watchworthy all the same, and the international audience seems to agree. Number 2. Be Melodramatic. Written and directed by the big-name filmmaker Lee Byung-hun, who is behind multiple box office hits like Sunny and 20, the meticulous series Be Melodramatic was thought to be a surefire success. Unfortunately, the series failed to meet expectations, and its viewership rating sadly hovered around the 1.5 to 1.8% range. But ratings say little, and Be Melodramatic is brilliant in its own ways. It is quirky, real, and relatable, with a sense of humor that clicks for any grown-up watchers. The series revolves around three 30-year-old friends, who, despite their ages, are still trying to find their place in life. They face the usual challenges of adulthood, with difficult bosses and relationship issues. First, there's Jinju, a weird scriptwriter who is super matter-of-fact. She's the series' main narrator, and so Be Melodramatic is mostly told in her tacky humor. She's not exactly bound by social norms, has flaws of her own, and yet is the right mix of relatable and out of this world. Then there's Eun-jung, a documentary director, who is strong, talented, and unapologetic. Her backstory, however, is super heartbreaking, and the plot around her shows us the way people suffer from and deal with grief. Finally, Han-ju is the final piece in the trio. She's a marketing executive, struggling to balance her professional life and her child. Through Han-ju, we see the tiring life of single mothers and workplace struggles all the same. Side characters like Eun-jung's brother, Jinju's ex-boyfriend, and many, many more all have their own stories to tell, making for an intricate yet pleasant drama. Talking about the series, director Lee Byung-hun shared that he used up his notes of 10 years to make the most relatable lines. "I've prepared for this drama since my 2015 movie 20, the director also said, and his effort had surely shown as Be Melodramatic goes on. The storytelling is skilled and insightful, the humor is well played, and the characters are realistic, fleshed out, and well-developed. It was just a healing series done right, and many had unfortunately bypassed such a great series." Number 3. You Are My Spring. With an interesting plot and gentle acting, You Are My Spring deserved more than a 2% average rating. The series began when hotel manager Kang Da-jong got involved in a murder mystery with her downstairs neighbor, Ju Young-do, who was a psychiatrist with wounds of his own. Like its name, You Are My Spring delivers the very essence of this season, where things start anew, and where gentle hope blossoms. Or, in the words of the series' writer and director, it is a drama that helps people become adults who cry when they want to cry. At first, the series' trailers, posters, and introductions all promoted it as a healing melodrama. But even in episode 1, There were creepy scenes, and by the end of episode 2, our characters are already entangled in a complicated murder case. But unlike other crime series, the focus of You Are My Spring is not the identity of the murderer, but rather his motives, reasons, and the actual story behind it. In a sense, You Are My Spring is a smooth harmony of two opposing film genres. The dialogue between male and female lead is natural and profound. Its side characters are also interesting, with their own priorities and struggles. So, while You Are My Spring did not achieve high ratings and never gained much recognition, it is still a hidden gem waiting for our discovery. Number 4. Kairos. Speaking of crime mysteries, it would be a huge mistake to not include Kairos in this list. With the average rating at a meager 3%, Kairos was just unfortunate, for it was up against the widely popular Penthouse. Critically acclaimed, Kairos stood out with a time-crossing theme, focusing on the young, successful CEO, Kim So-jin, whose perfect life was upended when his daughter went missing. His wife, miserable because of the missing daughter, jumped into the river and ended her own life. On the other side of society is female lead Han Ari, who is poor yet hardworking. Things went sour when her ill mother suddenly disappeared without a trace. And in her frantic search, Eri lost her phone. She called her own number, and the one who picked it up was no other than So-jin. He claimed that he was from a month later. And together, they solved the mystery of this time gap and rescue their loved ones. Kairos was extremely well made and clean. It poses multiple questions and details, and yet was not too confusing to watch. Throughout its entire run, there was no dull nor wasted moment, and every single event has a purpose to serve. Through Kairos, we are taught to cherish every moment with our loved ones, to not dwell in the past and get impatient with the future. The series' cast was also stellar, with talented actors like Shin Sung-rok, Lee Se-young, and Nam Kyu-ri. Kairos was just not a series you can skip. So really, give it a try when you have the time. And that's our list. But there are actually too many hidden gems to include, so here are some honorable mentions. A Piece of Your Mind. With viewership rating as low as 1%, this series was shortened to just 12 episodes. But if you want something slow and healing, it may just be a perfect fit. Welcome to Waikiki. The series scored ratings lower than 2%, but it was so soft and hilarious that it's impossible to miss. A Poem a Day. If you're a fan of K-dramas about doctors, then this is just the series for you. While the series rating was at a shocking 0%, it's the type of drama that is super gentle and meaningful. Novelera. Starring Song Kang, yet the series only averaged about 3% in terms of viewership. The series shows the struggle of youth, while at the same time reminding us that it's never too late to pursue our dreams. Have you watched these underrated dramas? If yes, what are your thoughts? Don't hesitate to fill our comment section with your opinions and recommendations of other series worth watching. And if you want more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to BRILLAINT. We'll come back soon. See ya!